Hello students, this is Mrs. Jones. Today we're going to review our areas for formulas for volume, some of the volume formulas are built off of a basic formula, and that basic formula is that volume is equal to the area of the base times the height. We already talked about area, so that we know those area formulas. So a cylinder is our first picture that's there. So it is a cylinder, and the base of a cylinder is a circle. So the area of a circle, remember, is pi r squared, and that's the r, that's the radius. So if we're following this generic formula here, we say that volume is equal to the area of the base. So the area of the base is a circle, pi r squared, times the height. So there is your formula for volume of a cylinder. A prism is the same way. A prism might be something you call a box. It also follows the same area of the base times the height formula. So we've got the length of the box, the width of the box, and the height of the box. So if you say the area of the base is length times width, and then times the height of the box. So length times width times height is your formula for volume of a prism. I'm going to skip over the sphere for a moment and drop down here to a cone and a pyramid. They also follow a basic kind of standard formula, and that is that the volume is 1/3 the area of the base times the height. In a cone, the base is the shape of a circle, so we say it is 1/3. The area of the base is a circle, pi r squared, times the height. This formula for a cone should actually look very similar to the formula for a cylinder. That's because if you have a cylinder and a cone that are relatively the same size, it will take 3 of these cones to fill up the cylinder that it's related to. Okay, so a prism is the same way. A prism, you've got the length, you've got the width, and you've got the height going down through the middle of it. It follows the same 1/3 general equation. So its formula is 1/3. The area of the base is length times width, and then times the height. And it also should kind of look like that formula for a prism. And that's because a prism and a pyramid are related in the fact that if you have a prism that is the same size as the pyramid, it'll take 3 of the pyramids to fill up the prism. The sphere, I don't really have a good trick for you to remember the sphere. So it is 4/3 pi r cubed. And the only way that I can tell you to help you remember that is that it looks like a circle on steroids. The 4/3 makes it on steroids, the cube makes it on steroids, but the pi r still reminds you of a circle. So go ahead and pause this video and make sure that you have all of those formulas written down. We're going to flip our page and do a few examples here. So our very first example says, find in cubic meters the volume of this horizontal oil furnace. First thing I want you to check for, because it's going to be easier to do it this way, is that it's meters and that the given information is also in the same unit. If it's not in the same unit, then we're going to have to do some conversions. But this one is okay, all right? And this horizontal or oil furnace is actually a very long, skinny prism. So our formula for a prism was the length times the width times the height. So with our given information, is 0.4 times 0.5 times the length of it. Now, does it really matter what order you put those in? No, because multiplication has what's called the commutative property of addition or multiplication. So it doesn't matter what order you multiply them in, you're going to get the same answer. So let me go ahead and just calculate that here. So our answer would be 0.3 meters cubed. And I don't know if I don't remember explaining this in the area video that I made, but we do everything cubed because volume is talking about a three-dimensional space. When you do area is flat. Area is a two-dimensional space, so everything is squared when you do area. Or when you just draw a plain line, that's just a one-dimensional space. That was why it would just be meters. Now you can write this meters cubed like this, or you can write it like our question says up here, cubic meters. It's the same thing. Right? So let's take a look at our second example here. It says a warehouse has dimensions of 87 feet by 60 feet by 15 feet, and it's asking how many cubic yards of supplies can this warehouse store. So I want you to notice that this is cubic yards, and this given information is in feet. So that might be something that we need to deal with right off the bat just to make things easier. So these things, we need to be able to convert them into cubic yards. And that was a couple lessons ago, so you should remember that for feet into yards, we're just going to divide each of those by 3. So 87 feet would convert to 29 yards. 60 feet would convert to 20 yards. And 15 feet would convert to 5 yards. And now our formula, this is a warehouse, so it's a building. Our formula for volume of a building or a warehouse would be length times width times height. So our formula can just be, our volume can just be easily found by multiplying all those dimensions together. So we've got 2,900 cubic yards of space in that warehouse. And remember, we can write it yards cubed, or we can spell it out cubic yards like this. All right, so our last example that we're going to do together today has a little bit of massaging that we need to do first. This says the volume of a family room is shown. The room has a 10-foot 6-inch ceiling, and it's saying find the volume in cubic feet. So this is like the floor plan view of this room, and then it's coming up out of the page 10 feet 6 inches. Our question is asking us for cubic feet. So we have a small problem with this 6 inches. So what we need to do is turn those 6 inches into feet. Now, taking inches into feet, we should remember that we divide by 12. Again, that was a couple units ago, a couple lessons ago. So if we take just the 6 divided by 12, it's going to make it 0.5, and the 10 would just stay 10. So 10.5 feet is the same as 10 feet 6 inches. So the same thing down here. To take this 10 into feet, we're going to divide it by 12. And it's going to give us a decimal. We're going to go ahead and round that to 8.3. And the 13 would be on the front. Now it's all in feet. And then we've got another one also. We've got to change this 1 inch into feet. So we divide that 1 inch by 12. And we get this to be 13.08 feet. All right, so now it's a family room, so it is actually a very large prism. How we find the volume of a prism is length times width times height. So we've got the length times the width times the height. And remember now those are all feet, so our answer that we get will also be in all cubic feet. So I get 1,899. And we'll go out 2 places because I did all of our other measurements in 2 places to the hundredths place. And this would be cubic feet. All right, I hope this video helps you understand how to find volume and how to use the formulas. As an HVAC student, you'll most likely use the prism formula the most, but it's a good thing to know all the other ones. So go ahead and open the Google quiz, answer all the questions, make sure that you hit submit. That is a very important thing, that you hit submit at the end of your quiz. If you have any questions, you can please email me at cjones@ictc.edu. All right, I hope you have a great day and hope to see you soon. Bye.